gender where it's at, Bill.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank.
Well, that was a soulful
That
entrance.
was very sultry.
That was really nice. That was really nice.
Lean back.
Okay, Fat Joe.
It's good to be back.
Sonny is here.
Hello, guys. We have a lot to talk about. I think we might have a little drama in this conversation.
Possibly. It's possible.
I'm really down. It's good to be back, guys.
We go to our resident drama king. Paul is here.
Oh, I wasn't sure which one of us that was going to be.
You knew exactly where that was going to go.
You know, I was
Hello.
gonna switch it
Drama
up.
king.
I didn't know I was the drama king.
I switched it up. And he's back from his tour, I guess. I don't know what was happening. From the great Northwest, part of Las Vegas. Donovan is here.
The great Northwest.
Listen, guys. I'm not
What
looking.
were you about to say?
I'm not looking to fight. I am not looking to argue. I'm going to state my points. I have evidence to support it, and we will go from there.
That's what everyone says
Fair
before
enough.
they were about to get in an argument.
But
Fair
I love
enough.
you. But here's the deal. I love you guys,
I love you too, man.
and I'm totally open to whatever you have to tell me.
We'll
and
see.
I hope. And what
We'll
do I
see.
say all the time? I hope that I'm wrong.
Okay.
I always hope that I'm wrong.
I also wanted to mention
don't.
that we're in a secluded
That's why I'm
location
the drama king.
in parts unknown. He is in a remote location in the studio.
Wow.
The variant joins us this evening as well.
He do be.
Sixth floor balcony.
Whoa.
It's like a Chris Walken. Whoa.
I'm over here now.
Wow.
Yes.
Pleasure to be here as always.
Good to have you.
Very,
have you.
very good. to
We're
have
going to be checking in with the variant as we go. We're going to be introducing a new segment later on
That was awesome.
involving the variant and Christopher Walken, apparently. Guys, let's get into it because I know that you have a lot to say.
Let's just get right into it, dude.
Okay. We saw...
What was going down?
Okay. We just saw the season premiere of Mandalorian.
Pretty much.
Season 3.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was.
Wait a minute. Spoilers. Spoiler warning. I mean, if you're not, you know the spoiler situation.
You guys,
Okay.
should know the deal by now. I think, unfortunately, I turned YouTube on. Actually, I turned my TV on, and PlayStation had YouTube going, and I saw a snippet, and it ruined it for me. So immediately, I was like, okay, I have to turn this on. The title of the episode is The Return of the Mandalorian. Minutes into the first part, it was epic. I was blown away by the fact that even it's shot differently. Am I wrong? Like, it just has such a different vibe.
I think the sets, or whatever you want to call what they do with the volume now, it's not really a set,
Right.
were a little more visually interesting than the same dilapidated tattooing we get all the time.
I think
that
so.
might have been what it is.
Maybe
And
the
there's nothing-
color.
There's nothing wrong with tattooing.
Not
Like,
at all.
that's just what tattooing looks like, and we've seen
Yeah.
it for however many times. So
The
we
whole
got,
season.
we got the freaking Halo ring, which was cool as heck.
That was
Like, that's-
really cool to
I'm sure
see.
that's what everyone who's ever played a Halo game
Oh,
thought.
that was the first thing I
immediately.
said when
like,
I saw it. I went, oh, Halo.
Sick. And it's really cool to see. This is the first time we're going off world.
Kill.
Literally, that's how it kind of felt. No, it felt so cool to see Mando again. In I don't know in what fashion he took these mob bosses out or whatever these crime guys were in the back. To see him fight with everything that he has now is such a cool sight, dude.
So,
I'm talking about the dark side.
I'm going to talk about because me and Donovan have like a little bit of something to talk about in regards to like the character and like Boba Fett. But before we get into that, I'm going to go like talk about the episode a little much and why I liked it. It was it felt like a romp. It was a fun like little space adventure. It was kind of like a hey, we need muscle, and then it like flipped to hey, this guy's going to be your muscle. Also, everyone loves him, so let's make the episode about him kind of.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed seeing him just Mando it up and seeing how much he still like cares about Grogu. He's like, that's my man. It's like I want him to be all right, you know.
Every little scene was emotional.
There was a lot of references to I think weirdly enough, kind of what I'm going to talk about at least in a minute. There's some things that reference the prequel trilogy, like action-wise, that is really cool. And there's some stuff that references the prequel trilogy in like total, like throughout the series, like with just Boba Fett in general, which I think hurts Boba Fett as a character, and I'll get into that. But it was cool to see, like, one was kind of silly, like the gate that Anakin like broke in the Phantom Menace. It's been 40 years. No one cleaned that up.
I saw that too. The ramp that goes up in Baker's Canyon. They have when he crashes through. I was like, oh, that's a fun little detail. Usually, I like to yell them out. While I'm watching up to my wife, but my wife was like, you might as well just speak Mandarin. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I go, okay, I'll just keep that to myself then.
Those are
but that was from episode 1, the pod race Baker's Canyon.
And we got the Starfighter, the Nabooian, however you would say that, Starfighter or whatever. That was really cool.
Awesome.
And then we get, I thought it might have been him for a second, but we get a BD unit. Like from Fallen Order.
I thought so too.
Which is super cool.
But it wasn't. But that was a really cool. And how he helped him with the ship towards the middle. That was super cool.
I really enjoyed this episode. It was very layered. It had a character that we love doing cool and interesting things, and it worked.
It did. Oh, it worked.
In the story,
to say the least, it
absolutely.
worked. What about you, Donovan? I feel like you kind of had some things to.
No, it's okay. I want to say this as a whole. I didn't get to talk about it last week. But I really love Peacemaker. I know that's totally not what we're talking about.
We're going to get there.
We'll get there, but I really, really love Peacemaker. Okay. That being said, Boba Fett. So when we first started with this show, I said that this was going to be a show that was a lot like a mob show, like a Godfather-esque type show. We haven't seen Boba Fett in 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, whatever, how many years we haven't seen this character at its potential.
Right.
Then we get a show called The Book of Boba Fett. And we're like, okay, great. This is awesome. The beginning of the show, it starts off with him in a banta tank.
Yeah.
He's healing still.
Yeah.
He's healing still.
He's healing
He was
still.
in... so everything that's taking place takes place, I think, 3 or 4 years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
So that means that he was in the Sarlacc pit for at least 3 or 4 years. For a long time.
Right.
So we don't know. So he's having to heal from that. Then he's got no family left. He's got nothing left.
Right.
Everyone thinks he's dead. So now he has to try and work his way back up and get into the zeitgeist of people and the culture of the Outer Rim.
Right.
He has to make a name for himself again because it was lost in that Sarlacc pit. Was stuck there for 4 years.
Right.
His reputation, the things he was known for, that's all still in there.
Yeah.
But now he's trying to be something new and something better than he was before.
Right.
The previous episode before this, I forget who he was talking to, but he was talking about how he was talking in the meeting with the rest of the
other three
crime
crime lords. Yeah.
He said, and then he's talking to another bounty hunter. He says, "I don't understand. We did the muscle. We did the work for all these guys, and they were idiots with the power that they were given. Absolute idiots.
Yeah.
But I know what it takes to not do that. So we're getting this great story in Boba Fett. We're getting his the things that I've learned not only from." Working in the galaxy, but working with my dad. My dad taught me all these things too.
Yeah.
I'm also a clone. I'm the last of my kind. There's no one else like me. And I'm also healing at the same time.
There is, though.
Right. Essentially.
That we know.
Essentially, yes. But
from this view, no.
But he doesn't know that. He is someone trying to, and he was done with it. I want to be the new Daimo or whatever the heck it's called.
Daimo.
Daimo. So he wants to go, at least once an episode, guys. Sorry. It's going to be around for a while.
Not the Daimo.
So the previous episode before this one, the very end of the episode, what happens? Regeneration complete. You are now fully healed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched both of them together, so they kind of blended together to me.
That's very smart. Very, very smart.
Yeah, but like at the end of the last episode, you hear the little Mandalorian chime,
Right.
and that's how I knew.
So here's my argument for this. We've had Empire Strikes Back and 3 or 4 minutes of Return of the Jedi
I mean,
that we've had from.
yeah.
I mean, it's sure,
Right.
but that's all we've had of Boba
right.
ever. And even before the prequel trilogies, he was a little kid going, and every little thing his dad did. Okay, so we
no, it's
don't
pretty
have
good.
that. We have 2 seasons of
LOL.
Din Djarin. We have 2 seasons of character development,
Badassery.
history, the things that he's able to do. We're used to that. We have 2 seasons of that. We have more time with Mando than we do with Boba.
Right.
I don't have a problem with how they've tried to execute the show. I think if you look back at the,
Well, I think what you're trying to say is like, are they wasting a development episode on Book of Boba on the Mando?
Absolutely not. That's not
there's
what I'm
2
saying
episodes,
at all.
They've got 2 episodes.
You just
left
want more of
Fett.
Boba.
No, not even
Okay.
not even that. I just don't like the rhetoric of Boba Fett being a really crappy show compared to The Mandalorian. I don't think it's a fair comparison for multiple
Okay.
reasons. First
And-
reason
and they
is
definitely-
that the season is not done,
Correct.
Okay,
and we have the second. My
it's
second
not a
argument is
completed
there's,
project. Yeah.
there's 2 seasons of Mandalorian.
Okay.
My third argument is you give Mandalorian his own episode in another show, which only reinforces the character even more.
It's true.
So
Boba Fett is not selling like Mando's selling. Like no action figure, no nothing is, you know what I mean? So they
I guarantee if you Googled which characters made more money off toys and merchandise, it's Boba Fett.
I mean, maybe with the
In the
time,
last year.
in the
All time,
last- if-
all time.
if
Right.
all time, yeah. But
Yeah.
he's had
Right.
he's had a little bit
But
longer
what
to
I'm
do
what
so.
I'm saying is we haven't had enough time with Boba yet, and people have to give this show a chance.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying.
You
now.
can't just sit there and go, "Oh, see, that's how you do it." Mandalorian episode, that's how you do it. Yes, okay, that's how you do it, but we've had 2 seasons with him before.
No, it's
so
true,
you
though.
have to give the rest of this show a chance. How many more episodes do we have left?
Only 2.
Two more.
We have 2 more episodes.
And it's gonna be, and we might even get Grogu and possibly Luke. I doubt it.
I
like
think
that
we'll see
very
that in
much.
Mandalorian. I don't think we're going to see that in this. I think we're going to go back to Boba. Boba Fett's character he's fully healed now. So we understand the gravitas of who he is and what he's capable of.
For sure.
We saw it happen when he went to that Jedi mountain in Simi Valley and in season 2 of Mandalorian.
Big Bear
He
Lake.
took out.
Yeah, dude.
You mean to tell me he took out all those stormtroopers, and then when he got his armor, he took out even more stormtroopers,
Right.
and no one was like,
no,
that
he's
is
badass.
that episode is the equivalent of what we saw with Mando in the season of Boba Fett.
It's not even close, dude. Not
You're
even
out
close.
of your mind,
Dude,
You're out of your mind.
that Mando
I agree,
episode,
actually, with Donovan.
I think that Mando episode was way cooler than seeing. I think, and Boba Fett was an awesome appearance, but I don't know. It didn't sell me the same way.
I want you to do your homework on this. I want you to go home after this, and
Okay.
I want you to watch this. I want you to watch the
I'll
whole
watch them both.
episode
I'll
with
watch them
Boba
both.
Fett first comes back,
watch
and then
them
I
both.
want you to watch the Mando one and
You were
tell
right.
me. And tell me,
Hurt some feelings here.
and tell me, out of the 2,
Yeah,
which one was more action packed?
action packed. That's different. Epic or better is what we're talking about here.
But that's what you're talking about. You're not talking about how great the story is. You're talking about how great the action is and how epic it is.
the action in between Boba Fett fighting and all that looked cool, but it didn't look as cool as the Mando stuff was shot.
That was
to
the-
me, it was a little wonky even when I was watching that. I was like, okay, it's like
Hey.
like you mentioned Simi Valley. You didn't say anything about Mando's. That was like a little chime of where they shot it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it was a little bit more badass, dude.
Hey, and you're entitled to your opinion, and that's fine.
So,
But that's all I'll say is that we've got to. This is the problem we have with comic book movies or sci-fi or pop culture that we see. We don't give things enough time to develop. We want it now. Now, give it to us
well,
now.
I mean, there is. I think you are in one stroke. You're right. Like let things develop, but in another stroke, if episodes are uninteresting and are not holding my interest and are boring, I'm not going to excuse that just because they're building to something.
Oh, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Boba Fett doesn't go without its flaws.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers bike chase was awful. It was absolute. The whole episode was like, ugh.
Yeah, we were talking.
It was not
They
that
all do
good.
bad episodes, you know. Like
Yeah.
it
I didn't hate
happens.
the episode of Mandalorian that you guys all hate. I didn't really hate it that
Which
much.
episode?
The one with the big
frog-
spider and the
The
frog.
ice spider and the
one.
frog lady.
Oh yeah, I
getting
didn't like that
Ubered.
one either.
Yeah, that was kind of wild.
But so
Ubered
so
frog
my
lady.
my thing is, I think the reason I have enjoyed Mandalorian, Din Djarin, as a character so much more than Boba Fett, because I'll preface this: I don't like the way the retcon to Boba Fett's background. I never have. I never liked that he's a clone. I have
Yeah.
never enjoyed that. I think that takes away from the character. I think it makes him less interesting in the same way that it makes Anakin less interesting that he's from Immaculate Conception. And I find the lone gunslinger in the universe finding his own way much more interesting than being connected to all the grand things. And he is the one clone that spawned or the one exact copy of the guy that spawned millions of all the same people. He feels less unique and less interesting. And also, this might be controversial. I have never liked Tamara Morrison that much as an actor. And I don't think he sells tough lone gunslinger the same way that Pablo Pascal
It doesn't
does.
seem like he
Or,
really is into the role anyway.
Yeah, what's the gentleman's name? Wintergreen, the guy who voices Boba Fett in the original trilogy
Yeah.
before they dubbed it over to Tamara Morrison. He oozes that, because even like you watch it, there's a video side by side of before they dubbed Tamara Morrison over and the Wintergreen guy. When Wintergreen talks to Vader, it sounds like he's telling Vader, "I need him alive. You will not kill him. He's more valuable to me alive." When Tamara Morrison's dubbed over it sounds like he's like, can I please have him back alive? Like he's more good to me alive.
Jason Wingreen passed away about 7 years ago.
But with the like intonation of his voice and what he's saying, and I think for me, Din Djarin is what Boba Fett was before the prequels,
Okay.
and what people wanted to see out of Boba Fett before the prequels.
Yeah.
And he's so tied to Jango Fett and all the clone stuff, and I've just never really loved it that much. That I'm like, oh, he's not that unique. He is a literal clone, like literally a clone of another character.
Right.
And I've always found just the lone guy in the universe doing all that he can to be all that he can much more interesting. And I think Din Djarin, I think Pablo Pascal sells it better than Tamara Morrison ever has.
I'll say this. So Boba Fett's character doesn't have a family. And throughout his life, he had his dad. That was his family.
Right.
That was the thing that he was connected to and grounded to. After his dad died,
Nothing.
he had nothing to be grounded
Right,
to until we saw what he went through with the Tusken Raiders.
Which was an
That
amazing
gave him,
episode.
That gave him life again. It
Right.
gave him purpose.
Right.
Maybe it gave him purpose for the first time.
Okay, and so
Ever.
and like I agree with you that he's like kind of regaining and becoming different, but with the I was a little boy back in the Clone Wars and stuff, him coming out of that lone gunslinger thing to be something different, it's not sold on me as well as it could be if for me, if Boba was what Din is now for however many years, including the prequels, him moving on from being a lone gunslinger to being this chief in charge of a crime syndicate and underworld would
Right.
it would be more organic and it would work better for me. Now, with that said, I am enjoying the show, and I do like the process that Boba Fett is going through, and especially the flashbacks and seeing his journey into becoming what he is. I'm not saying I don't like it and I haven't enjoyed it. I'm saying I think it could be better, and I think some of the things that happened in the prequels, which is you got to live with it at this point for me,
Yeah.
have made it like less interesting because of those retcons. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm still having a really good time. And
It's a great show. It just sucks that like in the conversations you're like, oh, like the best show of best episode of Book of Boba is
There's
one that
no
he's not
way-
even in.
There's
you know
no
what I mean?
way that in a Boba Fett show, a different character should take over an episode, and that should be my favorite episode so far. And that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear. Like I said, it felt different. There was a different vibe. It was shot differently. I guess the fact that we're in space and you're getting to see lightsabers and Beskar and like everything's just so cool. It's literally a badass episode. I don't even know how to explain it
agree.
other way. You know what I
I
mean?
think how they map this show out though too with the flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were done with the flashbacks when the episode before we get Din back.
Right.
All right.
I wanted to say something really quick about how they put these shows together and how they put the seasons together. You guys know that I watched Clone Wars all in one shot, like over like a 3-week period
Right.
during COVID.
Yeah.
I had never seen Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I watched all of it. There are moments during the show, and I understand it's an animated series. People don't jump all over me. Okay. Yeah, I know it's an animated series.
Still good.
They would have 3 and 4 and 5 episode arcs, and then they would jump to something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem in a 7-episode season for them to do 4 episodes and then switch gears and go to this. I don't even think you're going to see Grogu.
I don't
I
either.
think in the 6th episode, he's going to go and see Grogu and do what he's got to do.
Yeah.
You won't see Din in the 6th episode.
You'll just know
and
that
he'll
he
be
saw
back
him.
in the 7th episode.
You'll just know that he saw him. You know.
I think Grogu's going to show back up in the Mandalorian.
I
for
agree.
sure.
I think he's going to have some Jedi training
for sure.
and then go, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back with you. So we see the Naboo starfighter, and there's
the droid thing got
the droid
taken out.
thing got
That-
taken
you,
out,
You know
and there's
that's,
nothing in there.
You
So
know that's
little
for Grogu.
bubble.
I think we all know who's going to be sitting in the back of that thing.
Definitely for Grogu. And
Grogu.
before we skip over that, the ship is badass, dude.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
It's cool that it has like the chrome and silver tones to it.
I liked that
it's
a lot.
not as yellow as a Naboo
They
fighter
kinda,
looked back
They
then.
kind of faded it off a little
Before
bit.
you say you hate the ship.
No, I like it.
Okay, good. I was just setting it up. I just looked at your body language when we were talking about the ship, and you
He
were
was like,
No, I was.
and I was like, oh no, Paul didn't like it. I love the Naboo starfighter.
And yeah, that's another thing. I think a lot of the things aesthetically and like action wise from the prequels, I enjoy. But and I think that's kind of like why it might have been why you were thinking that, because a lot of stuff in the prequels I don't enjoy. But it's not like the ships, the designs, the way things have. I
That's
just
still
don't
pretty
like
cool.
a lot of the plot points that have had to have been, like another part in this episode where like I wish they would just drop some of the stuff and not mention anymore. The Jedi is supposed to let go of all connections. I've always thought, and that was a prequel thing. That was the dumbest thing. Like, why? Why do they have to be weird shut-ins? I hate a lot of the.
But there's one Jedi who doesn't believe in that. Do we know who that is?
And if we're being honest, none of them believe in it. They all make connections. They all. It's a rule that is routinely ignored.
They believe in helping the greater good, but there's one Jedi above all of them who was like, nah, like we should be connected and we should be helping and learning to love, and that was Qui-Gon.
yeah.
That's the whole reason why Qui-Gon didn't join the council, because he said, you guys are way too into politics and way too into helping everybody else and not worrying about what brings us together, and that's when we love humanity and when we connect with them and we bind ourselves to the things that matter the most. You guys are too political. I'm not going to sit on this council, and I'm going to train who I want.
I'm out.
See ya.
Even in practice, though, like Obi-Wan and Anakin, the connection they make is technically against the rules. The connection that Grogu has with what's it called? Mandalorian is technically against rules. Luke with Han, Leia, everyone
all
is
that
technically.
stuff.
And it's one of those things where I like it's just leave it alone.
And what happened to the Jedi?
They got destroyed.
Exterminated.
But that doesn't. That's not interesting. It's a silly rule that the fact that it's still carrying on is. It's one of those things where
Is it still carrying on?
Yeah, they're literally brought it up the episode.
About Jedi's having connect. Oh, well, she mentioned. Okay, no. I'll give you that. She mentions that. She says that, but she's thinking in a very old, archaic way.
Yeah, but still,
she's not thinking 30 years in advance and progress of what's happened since the Jedi have happened. I think Luke will totally change that whole rhetoric of you have to be connected because someone felt love for my father, and I felt that same love, and I saved him from darkness.
See, and I think all that we might see the reason Luke has said that his training camp got destroyed and we saw Kylo Ren mop through it. I think
we're gonna see fallout from that in Mandalorian season 3.
I think so too.
I think we're gonna see Mandalorian go get Grogu before all that happens.
Well, wait, but
snatch him up.
But the timeline is wrong though, because this is 4 or 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Ben Solo taking down the Jedi Temple is like 25, 30 years after.
What if we jump
Yeah, he
forward
would have been
in
born
Mandalorian
yet.
season 3, though?
there might be a jump.
That's a hell of a jump. That means you're still going to skip 25 years or 30 years of story to be told from the Mandalorian
how
to go.
old was Ben when
19.
Okay, and so we're 4 years after 15 years.
That's
I mean,
not that.
some hand. Yeah, in the Star Wars
He's a little
universe,
guy.
I feel like they could wave some hands.
Yeah.
Or just kind of be like, "Oops."
This
like,
happened.
I
Whoops.
wouldn't be mad, and I want to preface this, like, not preface, but I want to go back and
Preface
say
it.
I totally agree with you as far as the whole Jedi thing and the connect. I think it's dumb too, but I think
Yeah.
I think there was purpose for that. I think there was a reason why they said that, and it's the reason why the Jedi fell. Anyway, I digress. What were we talking about?
well, that exactly.
It's a whirlpool of a conversation.
And this is what happens with all Star Wars conversations.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Yeah.
there's stuff that like people like and that the same people like. We both like Star Wars, but I don't know. You guys seem like you probably like you enjoy the whole Immaculate Conception and him like he's like the savior of the Force, but then he only has a mother and he has to go and like things like that. What I'm trying to say is like there are things from the prequels, from the original trilogy, from the sequel trilogy that you enjoy that I don't, that I feel like
Right.
took away from my enjoyment of the rest of the series,
Right.
and you feel like added to it. And that's because Star Wars is so divisive because there's been such long leaps in between each things. Everyone
Yeah.
has been able to develop what they want to believe and what they think would make them the happiest to see. And it's been not entirely parallel, like some people want to see. Like even just
No,
between
it's a good point.
even just between Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, there were some people who had theories and they didn't happen and they were upset. And there were some people like myself who had theories and then they didn't happen. And I was like, good. I didn't freaking guess exactly what was going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
And it's
I love
you know what I mean?
Jedi.
And there's people who,
Same.
like me, when it
movie.
seems like they kind of like ignore and like poo-poo some of the stuff that happened in the prequel trilogy,
Poo-poo.
I enjoy it. Like they got rid of the whole you have to be special and have all these midichlorians in The Last Jedi. That was a prequel thing. They got rid
Yeah.
of that in The Last Jedi. I enjoyed that. There's people who were
Got
like,
midichlorians.
didn't like that. They're like, oh, it's so important. Like that's a major integral part. You can't just be anybody.
Gotta
So
have
what I'm saying is like
midichlorians.
it's like Star Wars is so subjective, and it's
Yeah, and that's the thing I think is really kind of a bummer with Star Wars is because we all get really, really excited to see new Star Wars content, and then right when it happens, it's like the Civil War. And I agree with you. There
Yeah.
are things in the prequel that I don't like the midichlorian thing. I
Yeah.
don't like that he was immaculately concepted. He never had a father. Oh, okay. All right, so he's Jesus.
yeah, literally.
Okay, but
Space Jesus.
there are things that are
Jesus
super.
Skywalker.
But there's things that are super important to like
Name is Jesus.
to that
Jesus
prequel that led to
Skywalker.
the other things. Like that whole fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin. You can't tell me that that's not a great fight.
No, I
Oh,
enjoy that.
sick,
Yeah.
sick.
It's one of the greatest moments in Star Wars history.
Super sick.
However, I don't like when she names her kids. Look, Leia, dead. Like
And-
what?
And for me, like a lot of the things,
Like, what?
a lot
That
of things
was
that
really
happens in the,
dumb.
Okay.
in the prequels are one of those things that on paper, in concept, sound really good, and then when
Yeah.
executed by George Lucas, weren't so smoothly executed. And there was a reason during the,
Yeah.
for me, there was a reason during the production of all of those movies. He was actively looking for someone else to direct it, and everyone kept telling him no. Everyone, no, this
I
is
didn't know
your
that.
baby, you take care of it.
I
It's
saw
well
something-
documented that he tried to get Ron Howard to do it. He tried to get Spielberg to do it. He tried to get
I do know about the Spielberg one.
Could you imagine
he
how
tried to get.
differently
I think he
these
tried to get
tones would
Kasdan
be?
to do it.
Yeah.
I think he tried to get Kasdan to do it. and they
Imagine
were all
how
just
different
like,
these
no.
tones of this movie would be if like Spielberg got it,
I
or
saw-
if like you know what I mean.
I saw an interview with George Lucas talking about Jar Jar Binks, and he goes, "People hated Jar Jar Binks. People hated them because it was a character for children." And he goes, "I hate to break it to you guys, but these stories were for
That's
children."
accurate. That's true.
And he goes,
I've
he
never
goes-
been that perturbed, like bothered by Jar Jar. I don't
Me neither.
care.
And he goes,
Yeah.
"You know what happened when 3PO and R2 came out?" He goes, "Everybody was pissed about those characters because they were too childish.
Yeah.
Now, what are they?"
Like
Beloved.
beloved, iconic characters.
Not that Jar Jar has
Not
had the
that
same
Jar Jar
shelf life as those two, but
No, true. But my point is,
No,
is
no,
that these
no.
were
I get you.
this is written for children.
yeah,
No, it's good.
For children, and I think us
Like-
as adults who are raised on these
Stop
movies, we
hating,
want to
bro.
see adult versions of the things we
Yeah.
saw as kids.
Sure.
That's not fair because we have to bring the next generation along as well to fall in love with the things that we fell in love with too in their own special way.
Oh no, man!
can't
We
sit
get
there
like
and
a
go-
dark version of the Joker.
So
and I'm like,
basically,
okay, this is pretty
what
tight.
Donovan is saying, we're all sitting around a table yelling at each other about a children's story,
Yeah,
which is accurate.
30
Yeah,
minutes
but it's fun.
plus.
but
So-
that's our show.
That's pretty
That's
much
all we
it.
do is watch children's stuff that we really
Yeah,
like.
It's pretty true, accurate.
I wanted to talk to you guys some more about upcoming stuff this year. Let's talk about some
Ooh.
more children's product. I wanted to speculate a little bit with you guys and talk to you about your most anticipated shows/movies. Give me like two.
Can we add something to this? Can we give us two of the things you're most looking forward to and the one that you're kind of worried about?
We're going to do that next week.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're going to do the least anticipated,
that.
the things you're concerned about next week.
Okay.
But for this week,
Okay,
we're going to keep it
light.
we're going to keep it positive. And
Keeping good vibes around here.
I'm going to start with Donovan.
Okay. Oh gosh.
Two anticipated shows, or you can just do one or
shows
whatever you
or
want.
movies?
Both.
Both. Okay. Oh my gosh.
That separates it because TV shows are a little slim. You talking about
Okay,
movies?
The show that I'm for sure looking forward to the most is Rings of Power.
Ooh, good.
Not even close.
Wow,
That show is
Amazon
the fact
Prime.
that I saw that that whole opening intro that they did for the
talking
teaser
about that on
was
here.
practical.
Yeah, no CGI.
No CGI.
We're talking about Lord of the Rings, Amazon Prime, Power of the Rings.
That whole thing
I
is
didn't realize that's what it was
September,
called.
right?
You
Comes
weren't.
out
Rings of
September.
Power, yeah.
You weren't even in. You were like.
I didn't realize that's what it was going to be
Yeah,
called.
it's,
Yeah,
and it's
Amazon
about
Prime.
the forging of the rings.
Amazon Prime.
So we're gonna get to see the Valar, the Valar,
The
sorry, in their their most pure way. We're gonna get to see Gandalf, a young Gandalf, perhaps a young Sauron.
Well, Gandalf is never young because he was just a spirit that was put
A
into
less
a body.
old Gandalf.
but his
angelic
physical,
spirit.
but his physical form on Valar is one of that's fair and handsome and beautiful.
And like wisdom and stuff. But
Yeah.
the Gandalf that we
And
see in
cute.
the movies is just
Sure,
a
but-
shell kind
Like a
of.
filter.
All I'm saying is we could see Gandalf in a different way. We could see Sauron in a different way, and Galadriel and Howard Shore is
Sorry,
coming
I
back.
nerded out for a second.
Howard Shore
I know
is
you know a
coming
lot
back
about
to
it.
compose the music.
yeah, that's gonna be epic.
So that should be good. And it's TV-14. Thank God. I was afraid that they were going to make it Game of Thrones and just have TNA and blood everywhere. And I was like, that's just not Lord of the Rings. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It's something completely. Game of
I'd
Thrones
have
is
been
Game
down
of
for
Thrones.
that.
We know.
I would have been.
Sonny is always down for
I
that.
would have been down for that.
So that's the show that I'm looking forward to the most. God, the movies. I know that the slated movies that are coming. I mean, the Batman is up there for
Up
me.
there. What else?
But it's also kind of a concern for me. And then
I knew that
Next
was his
week.
answer for that.
the Multiverse of Madness is also really exciting for me, but I'm also kind of concerned about that one too.
Got a lot of concern out of Donovan.
I do. I have a lot of concern. There's a lot of mental problems going on with me.
It's not what I said.
Oh gosh, movie. Can someone give me like the rundown of the most
Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Across the Spider-Verse, Batman, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Adam,
Jurassic
Uncharted,
World.
Jurassic World. We got John Wick 4. What would you say?
Scream came
That
out.
already came out.
Scream came out.
Scream louder. I would have to probably say the Batman
Really?
because he's my favorite.
That's good.
anything of
Okay.
anything. Like
right,
he's
Paul?
the best of the best of anything. So that's my tip.
Paul, what you got, man?
Okay, so I got like a list of top
course you do.
three. Number 3,
Wanted to do two, but go ahead. Just... So Paul's gonna go with his
I
top
have a whole
six.
list too. Don't even worry about it.
I know. Of
course you do.
I saw yours. I was like, give me the rundown. What do you-
all right, so number 3 for me on my most anticipated is Jurassic World Dominion. I like dinosaurs, man, and I've always
I think
liked
it's going to be a
dinosaurs.
cool movie to watch.
Do I think it's going to be great? No. Do
gonna
I
be
think it's going to
fun.
be dinosaurs on screen doing dinosaur things? Yeah, I do.
In like an urban environment
yeah,
too. Like
That's
it's
gonna
going to
be
be
pretty
here,
badass.
like in
It's gonna
Las
be in
Vegas.
the
That's cool.
mainland.
Yeah,
That's cool.
But Jurassic World Dominion is so TV show real quick. It's same. Like I really can't even think of another TV show off the top of my head that I'm like kicking and screaming to watch that. I love
That's
Lord of the
really
Rings.
cool.
Like I'm a crazy Lord of the Rings person because
That's cool.
Same.
But anyways, so yeah, Jurassic World Dominion. Number 2 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
If you've read Jason Aaron's initial Thor run with Gore the God Butcher,
Sick.
that is so cool. And
Yeah.
Gore
Sick.
is an incredible villain.
Cannot wait.
His motivations are super cool. He's a guy who like prayed to the gods for his family and his people to be saved. They weren't. He was like, I guess gods aren't real. And then 2 fell out of the sky fighting, and he got one of their weapons and was like, oh, you guys are real, and you let my people die. I'm coming
I'm
for
coming
y'all.
for every
Okay.
single one of y'all.
And he's played by Christian Bale.
Epic.
Holy guacamole, he's the best.
Yes,
and
it's
then
gonna be
Holy guacamole.
we got the Jane Foster Thor thing. There's a lot of stuff going into this that I'm super excited about. Some of my favorite storylines and things of that nature from Marvel are going to be starting to happen in this movie, and
For
I'm
sure.
really excited about that. And then versus the Batman. I mean,
Boom.
it's like It's Batman, bro.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It
That's
might
fair.
be Court of Owl. Maybe.
So that's number 3 for me. I think I'm really anticipating that. If we're talking TV shows, Moon Knight, man. I think
Oh, duh.
Moon Knight
Yeah, I'm
is
excited for
something.
Moon Knight,
But not as much as Rings of Power.
No, and see that's never been my thing. I
Yeah.
think it's cool. So whatever. I think seeing a badass Moon Knight, that's pretty cool. My most anticipated is we're all kind of breezing over it. Is this what is it? Into the Spider-Verse? Across the Spider-Verse?
Animation.
Across the
Some, like
Spider-Verse.
I'm never really that hyped for animated stuff.
Me
Dude,
neither.
even if you put you put this next to our new Spider-Man movie, it holds up in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
a great movie. Multiverse of Madness is probably the thing I'm most anticipated
Really?
for
That kind of surprises me.
because I want to see how they're gonna push the envelope after we got all this stuff in the Spider-Man. I've heard so many tinfoil
A little Jackman
All
action.
kinds of stuff.
there's every from Tom Cruise coming in as another version of Iron Man, different versions of all. Look, dude,
Chris Evans playing multiple characters.
he's gonna be back as Human Torch. Like, so there's a lot of things where
Hydra, Captain America.
yeah, there's a lot of things going out there. So I think personally, for me, you guys know I love anything that's like theory wise.
Tinfoil hat.
I hope that they do it. So yeah, that's my most anticipated.
Tinfoil
We should
hat
have
activated.
we should have a segment called Tinfoil Hat, and when he just gives us all of his theories, and then we have to react to it. And when he does, he has to put a tinfoil hat on.
Oh,
Frank,
one.
before
He's
you
got
go
one.
with your most anticipated, I'm pretty close to not having to give Sonny $100 because I said I'd give him $100 if not Han Solo, if Harrison Ford showed
Harrison
up
Ford-
in Boba Fett. If he shows up
Not
in
a
Boba
stop
Fett,
motion.
No.
I am giving him $100.
I think we might.
No.
Nah, it's not looking like. Go ahead.
It's unlikely.
It's
Okay,
very unlikely.
real quick with the 2 shows. I'm
What you got?
surprised that we spent all this time talking about Star Wars and you guys didn't mention the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh my.
So you guys didn't
Okay,
mention
that's up
that
there with
series.
me for.
I'm excited to
yeah.
see Ewan
I
McGregor
forgot about that.
be Obi-Wan Kenobi again.
Same.
I'm
I
so.
mean, I'm hyped for that, and that we have the potential to see him have some other showdown with Vader.
Yeah.
And Vader's also showing up in the Ahsoka show as
Yeah.
well.
Yes, he is.
That's probably my number 1.
Okay.
And then
Very
after that, just because I want to see where they're going to take this series, and it's ambitious, I want to see because I got more and more into this show as the seasons went along.
What's that?
Is Umbrella Academy.
I knew you were gonna say that.
I want to see what they're going to do
Neither have I.
with Sparrow
Paul and I just looked
Academy.
at each other. He
I'm-
mouths to me. He goes, "I haven't seen it." I was like, "Yeah."
I'm interested.
It's good. It's
and
really
I
good.
didn't really. Sonny knows I was late
Yeah.
to this whole thing.
I was
did
like,
not,
you should watch this.
I didn't get into the first season until the second season was almost out.
Right.
I just like, I don't care. And then people kept saying it's really good. And Sonny's like, it's pretty good. You should check it out. And then I enjoyed it
good.
very much. And
Good.
I'm excited to see that
That's gonna be
third
good.
season. I guess they're calling it Sparrow Academy.
The Sparrow Academy.
Those are my 2 shows.
They're like, what's going on over here?
There's a lot
just
more, but
listening.
those are my 2 shows. As
you got
far
for
as the
movies?
movies, I've got the 2 movies.
What you got?
Okay. I'm nervous about the ambition
Yogi
that
the
they're
Bear
trying to
over
put into these films
Yes.
with these future projects
Yes.
with Marvel.
Taking
I'm very nervous about what they're trying to do
big
with the
old
Flash.
swings.
Yes.
Okay, it's nerve wracking.
Yes.
Okay,
I don't even want to comment on that one.
my second
We'll have an all episode next week.
the second most anticipated film, I guess I would say, is probably Multiverse of Madness by default because it's going to set a bunch of things in motion.
Yep.
But number 1 for me is Batman
Yeah,
Okay.
because
that's the correct answer.
it's listen, you guys know
Batman's my favorite,
I have
dude.
a lot of comic books.
Do you?
I have a lot of comic books.
Was that your Trump?
yeah.
That wasn't very good.
That was really good.
Let me tell you. No, okay. So I have a lot of comics,
Right.
and most of my comics.
Hey there, Fredo. Look at this handsome guy right next to me. Quite frankly, the
hate
most
it.
handsome.
Thank you.
And
Did you just call yourself handsome?
I love the character of Batman.
You are.
Yes.
I'm a sucker. Everybody knows that I pick up all the stuff that comes out that is a new take on the same story of
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne at
Yeah.
whatever stage of life he's at.
Yep.
Same.
I want to see it and read it, and
I think
I'm
the
all about it.
filmmaking in that movie is going to be the best from a filmmaking standpoint, the decisions that they decide to make. And I even say, I know you're Mr. Nolan. I know that you're
No,
Mr.
I'm just-
Nolan.
I'm not
And
sure
I'll
what
tell
you're
you
about to
why.
say.
Because the clip that I saw was the church scene. There was like a funeral scene that was going on.
It's nice, beautifully shot.
It's really well done, but in every other action movie, when there's a part in the clip when a car crashes through the church, and then a guy comes out and he's got a cell phone strapped to him and he does this.
Right.
In a classic action movie, you would cut back and forth between the truck going to the church and what's happening in the church, and the truck getting closer, and then the church, and then closer, and then boom, it happens. They didn't do it with this movie. They had you in the church the whole time, and all of a sudden you hear a little bit of commotion, then a little bit more commotion, then a lot of commotion, and then screaming, and then panic, and a car crashes through.
Yeah.
So there's this like Jaws-esque thing that's happening, this dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun that we see, and then it comes to fruition, and there's this thing that's happening.
yeah.
And so for me, it's that those little things in filmmaking that make such a big difference when you're watching a
Reeves
movie.
Is up there with me for Nolan as my one of my, if I'm doing like my top 10 favorite films of all time, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is in there every time. That movie is unbelievable. It's shot beautifully.
That's good.
Those are so good, and
Tenet.
I like Tenet a lot too, man. That's not Reeves, but yeah.
I'm just throwing movies out.
But dude, I'm so excited for the Batman.
Yeah, and even there's the shot of Penguin being in the car and him looking, and it's Batman
like
walking
that
towards
too.
him upside down like a bat.
But we have
those little creative things that are
we
so
have
much
to
fun.
see this movie first before
Before we decide that it's the greatest thing ever.
you know what I mean?
Oh,
hold on.
absolutely. No doubt. But I think it's going to be some really
If
good
anyone
filmmaking.
here doesn't make decisions on movies before they see them, it's me.
know that.
I thought the Wonder Woman, whatever it's called, Wonder Woman Trash Can 84 was gonna be great, and
That
then
was the
I
full
did
name
too.
of the film.
yeah, Wonder Woman Trash Can 84, and then I slowly realized
That it was a Sears commercial,
it wasn't very good. Not a Sears commercial.
Macy's commercial.
It
I think.
ended
At
as a
the
Sears
end.
commercial.
I know. I was waiting for the Mentos music to come on at some point. Do 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 do. Please don't shut us down, YouTube.
the minute what's her name, Cheetah, like put her hair down, and that was what made her like attractive. I was like, oh yeah, we're in for it now.
We're in for it now. We might be in for it. Listen, guys, we wanted to introduce this new segment. I guess I don't know what we're going to be calling this going
I've been
forward.
looking at him
but
the whole time.
we
'cause it's
wanted to
just
get
in my eye shot.
yeah, because he's handsome.
That too.
We got the variant over here. We wanted to check in with him and see how we're doing so far. What are your thoughts for that I
Everything
don't
that
know,
we
it's
talked about.
the screaming and the argument that we had earlier.
Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Wow. So Donovan made great points.
What?
Paul also
that
made great
supposed
points.
to
We're
mean?
talking about
scoring the
Mando
fight
first.
right now.
He's
Talking
gonna
about
go Mando first,
We
okay.
have to talk about Mando. Okay, that was all great. All the little connections, all the little tie-ins that we got going on. The Mando episode was a big episode.
The Mando episode.
The Mando episode. That's what it is in the
was.
Boba show. It's a Mando episode.
It's true.
But there's a lot of cool stuff, and I just really don't know why Paul has to hate on it so much. Like all in all, like you really hate on Boba, I think, more and more, and that's okay. And it's okay. You know, everyone just got their thing. I don't think Sonny actually dislikes Boba as much as he thinks he does. I think this is going to be actually his favorite show.
This is my favorite segment of the show by far.
I think at the end of this season, Sonny's gonna rewatch the first season of The Mandalorian and realize that the first season of The Mandalorian isn't actually that good. But we were just so deprived of Star Wars content that you really attach to it.
Wow.
Do me next!
Right, yeah.
Do me next!
So we're gonna see how that all kind of shakes down. That'll be in a few weeks, right?
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, that's all the homework. Donovan just went everywhere. That was great. I don't really know how to follow. It was a lot of different stuff. I think the only thing that we missed during that whole thing is the whole rumor that that's Anakin's Naboo starfighter, right? Little Anakin.
Oh,
that
yeah.
he took a little trip to go see Mom on Tatooine, and then he had to go get picked up by the Jedi Council. That's a deep take that's on the internet right now, folks. We don't know about that.
That makes sense.
I mean, it could be, it could be something, but what did he do? Just leave it on Tatooine, and then someone had to go pick him up because, bad
I mean,
Anakin.
they left the broken fence for 40 years. So
That's a good
maybe.
point. They only clean it up.
The only argument that I would have to that is that Anakin is in Jedi garb and he has his Padawan braid
Right.
at the end of episode 1.
Right, because there's been time passed.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
what you're saying. So I'm wrong. I'm an idiot.
Yeah,
Go
like
ahead.
there's not. Goodness. Oh man.
You were right. I'm just gonna sit here on my ice.
I'm just putting that out there. As far as anticipated movies, I mean, come on, guys. Like Aquaman, like doesn't that happen this year? Are we excited
Thanks
for
for tuning in
Aquaman?
this week.
Avatar 2 and Aquaman, they come out on the same day. That's exciting. Remember
What does?
Avatar 2?
Avatar 2 and
Avatar
Aquaman?
2's speculative date is December 16th, everybody. And we have nothing for it.
I can
Wow.
Avatar 2.
wait.
James
Can't
Cameron
wait.
Avatar.
I can wait.
James Cameron Avatar. That's what he just says. He just leads with James Cameron.
It's James
Avatar.
Cameron. Yeah.
No, our Pocahontas too.
Yes.
Well, the Megalodon got greenlit for another episode called The Trench. So I don't know if that's like
Another episode.
Ooh.
or movie. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
a deep cut to Aquaman. I'm not excited about that.
Anything
Wow,
else? Anything else? Variant?
No, I was man. There was like 5 minutes when I was just trying to get like I really want to get upset at Paul and at you somehow at the same time when you guys are
but he
feuding,
was just
like,
getting upset at
bickering
me.
over like the Mandalorian stuff because I think the show is great.
The
Boba Fett's
clone
just
stuff
great.
is stupid.
The episodes of like everything that happens in like the Vespa scene with all their different colored bikes is not good, but it's also not the worst thing that we've seen in Star Wars.
No.
Right.
That's
by
accurate.
a lot.
That is
I
accurate.
mean, sure, that scene's like slow and like got that weird techno music. I think that's actually my least favorite part of the show is when he goes to fix Fennec, you know, and there's like
Yeah.
the weird cyber music.
Yeah.
That's the worst part of the
I
show,
literally
guys.
skipped through
That
that
scene
part of
is
the
10
episode.
minutes long.
I think
and
it's
this weird like
Thundercat, right?
I think it's
music.
Thundercat. I think
Terrible.
Thundercat made the music. That's why they. they're
I
doing it.
literally kid you not, just 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds through that scene.
If your doctor was playing techno music when you're techno music,
Tecmo
I was saying
Bowl?
Tecmo Bowl. When he's playing techno music while he's operating on you, I mean, you might be concerned to say, do you like that? How does this feel? Like putting this machine in your stomach. How does that feel? I made this.
By the way,
By the way,
Yeah.
no, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
okay with that.
yeah.
I mean, it kind of gave me like cyberpunk vibes. It didn't really give me Star Wars vibes. I don't know.
Right.
It was definitely interesting. but-
Everything about the like half cybernetic things is again something that I think is cool in theory, but in practice hasn't been very cool.
I remember watching it. And I think they're actually referencing something with not clones rather, but droids and humans being put together. I think it has to
Well,
do with Darth Vader
Yeah,
because he
Probably.
was put together by a bunch of machines and robots and stuff. And I think that they may have heard that somehow, and they thought, well, why don't we try and
Yeah.
put upgrades to ourselves as well? I mean,
I know what you're talking about.
so
It's
that
something
was
similar
the
like
kind
that.
of the thing that I was like, kind of
And
like,
the,
oh, I mean,
the
that
Bad
makes sense.
cyberpunk.
The Bad Batch have all the like physical
Right.
augmentations.
There you go.
All right, just keep yelling at me, Jonathan.
Man. The only cyber character that we see in Star Wars really is like either Darth Vader or Lobbit, right?
Yeah.
On Bespin.
Yep.
That's the guy with the, the cyborg,
Yep.
whatever. So it's cool that they're showing like, yeah, we're in the future-ish, guys. Long time ago, but now these people have, the guy with the goggle eyes. He can see her better because he has to turn on his eyes. Kind of weird, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It adds more charm to Tatooine, this desert planet.
And do we like the fact that they all look like they're from the 70s? These people, like their haircuts, the kind of clothes. Do we
No.
like that?
No.
I there's a part of me that does, and there's a part of me that doesn't. There's a part of me that's like, I appreciate the fact that they're
There's a
leaning
part of
more
me
towards
that
the
skips
original
every scene they're
trilogy.
in.
Okay.
That part of you. Slap the other part of you.
Wow.
And be like, this sucks.
I really did,
But
though.
yeah, there's a lot of that. You guys did great. Overall, I think that was great. Good
Thank
discussion.
you, buddy.
I
What-
think
What are the things that you're most looking forward to?
I wasn't kidding. Aquaman.
Definitively.
Wonder Woman was such a dumpster fire of a movie that I've reminisced on watching that again, and I was like, man, it really was terrible.
He didn't.
And I really
Hold
hope,
on.
I really
want-
hope Aquaman.
I want everyone
is
to
good, but
actually
also
hear
is
what
bad.
he just said. He did not say he watched it again. He said he reminisced about it, and
I
then was
thought
like,
about the experience.
He thought about it and was
I
like,
did.
"Yeah, that was horrible."
I'll
Yeah,
go ahead
was
and
that
pass
awful?
on that one.
Terrible. For real though, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That's like the really exciting.
yeah, all
Moon
you
Knight,
guys-
I'm excited for all these other Marvel stuff. It's awesome, but we've also been getting Marvel for the last however many years.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten Lord of the Rings since Hobbit, and Hobbit wasn't
Was
awesome.
bad.
No.
So this is really the thing to get excited for.
And
And
my-
when is it? How many more weeks?
September.
Oh, it's
September.
a year.
It's
Yeah,
It's
September.
September.
So like 30
2nd.
weeks.
It's like September
like
3rd.
47
or something
weeks.
like
Yeah.
7 weeks.
My wife, when I showed my
Several
wife
weeks,
I showed my wife the trailer, and then I showed her the behind the scenes of it, and she was like, "We should rewatch the Lord of the Rings."
Yes.
And I went, "Absolutely." I was like, "Can we do extended edition?" And she was like, "Is there any other way?" And I was like, "I love you so much."
I'm not a big rewatch guy, but I have
course you're not.
watched the. Man, why
Take it easy
that.
on my
Paul's
friend
taking
Paul.
shots
What
today.
in the
Hey, man.
world?
I know. I don't know why.
Goodness,
Just
I have rewatched the.
Of course you're not.
3 the original trilogy, if you will, for the Lord of the Rings, like so many times.
same here.
So many times. That's my jam right there.
What's your favorite Lord of the Rings movie?
Oh Lord.
Of the Rings.
Holy moly. It is honestly very hard to choose. All three of them are good in their own right. All three of them have like their moments where it's like, but
If you had to pick.
Fellowship.
What's your favorite?
Return of the King.
Okay.
Return of the King. Return of the King. Return of the King.
That was pretty
There's
pretty
not a more powerful moment that when Aragorn is getting crowned as King of Gondor and the line of Isildur is restored and everybody's there and they all bow to him, and when the hobbits go to bow, he goes, no, you bow for no one.
Yeah.
And everyone bows to them. Give me
I
cry.
Yeah.
That was
every
pretty
single there's one time I was like, I'm not gonna cry during this scene. And then the music
happens.
hit, and then he started singing that, yeah, man, or whatever he sings. And I was like this, I was like,
So the two moments in Fellowship of the Ring that just put it over the top for me is Boromir.
yeah, no doubt.
Dude. That is how you do redemption.
My brother, my captain,
He was like,
my king. Oh,
yeah. He was like, he got consumed by the ring, and even as just a regular dude, he was able to let it go and put his life on the line to destroy the ring.
would you say that it's Boromir's courage that motivated Aragorn to take the throne
Yes.
again? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
He saw in him what he could do and what he can be to people
Yes.
because of Boromir.
Yes.
And then Gandalf and the Balrog, there is not a cooler. There might be scenes that are as cool.
Yeah.
The flame of Aragorn. Yeah.
There
I'm
is
sorry.
not a scene in
That was
any
awesome.
movie ever that is cooler. There might
was
be
awesome.
scenes on par,
Yeah.
and then that kind of bleeds over into the Two Towers a little bit with the end of the fight. But just
I think that's my
the
favorite.
Balrog
Two Towers is
arriving,
fun.
Two Towers was dope.
the Balrog arriving, there is not a cooler scene in movies ever.
Mm.
Maybe on par, but not more cool.
The lead up to it too. Hey, let's
Yeah.
take the Mines of Moria, and then they cut to Gandalf, and he's like,
I think when the credits rolled in the Wonder Woman movie was on par. That was super.
That was one of the
Super
best
sick,
things in
dude.
cinematic history.
That was sick.
that
dude.
should have been nominated for an Oscar. The credits.
Sonny, you were going to mention some little news and notes.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick.
Actually, Ghost of Tsushima is actually going to be doing a live action movie.
That's cool.
It's in development.
I've watched people play that game a lot. I haven't actually played it.
It's amazing.
It is.
We get, I think this Sunday, we get a trailer for the live action Halo that's going to be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm pretty stoked on that. We get we've been seeing a lot of these interviews with all of the Spider-Men and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if you guys
Spider-Man.
I haven't actually watched, but
Seen
I've
'em.
seen like they're popping
They're
up.
awesome.
Yeah.
Tom Holland said he wouldn't be mad if this was his last send-off.
He keeps saying stuff like that. It's
I
not
think-
gonna be.
I don't
he already
think so.
signed for 3 more movies.
Right, so we have to see the dude again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
So-
entering like Daniel Craig 007 territory where
Yeah.
Daniel Craig didn't really want to do it anymore, but now he kind of has to.
So it's kind of doing into that. We might be getting a new James Bond officially, or it's been a lot of talks. I mean, we've been talking about this for I don't know how long, but Idris is going to be playing a new James Bond.
So that's it's looking like
It's
that's gonna
looking
be
like
the,
he's
It's
the
looking
guy.
like they're
It's looking like
going
I
he's
that.
the
like
guy.
that
Okay.
a lot.
Oh, I love it.
like it
I think
a
it's good too.
lot.
I think it would be a nice change. I think epically it would be. They plan all these movies amazingly well. You know what I mean? And I think it'll look amazing. Squid Games is going to be doing a universe.
Season 2.
Yeah, we're doing a season 2. We might get some spin-offs. I know.
I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, neither do I.
I
I
thought
watched
it
Did you
was
see
fun.
Squid Game?
I
I
thought it was
watched the
super
first couple
fun.
episodes and I was
Oh.
like, well, it's fine.
I watched the whole
great.
thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fun.
Enjoyed it.
But I am notorious for if I'm not into a show or it's not like in my wheelhouse, I'm not. That's a lot
Okay.
of time. I'm not watching that.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm with Paul.
We know we know that.
Yeah.
Something that's not in my wheelhouse either. A lot of movies came out that were disappointing. Mortal Kombat has been greenlit for
Part 2.
part 2. I don't know who was in that meeting talking about that.
It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and they will sell tickets. They're gonna get butts and seats.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I'm sure there's action figures and all that kind of stuff. But
It would probably do better theatrically than the original
Because it was right in the middle of COVID, huh?
Yeah, and they were
uh,
limited with being able to sell tickets. I mean, and people.
you could just watch it at home.
Did you go watch in the theater?
I did. Unfortunately.
sorry.
Yeah. So it was. It honestly.
You gotta love it when the
I was
main-
trying to put you on the spot. I was just asking.
No,
if
no,
you
no,
would
no,
see
no,
it.
no, no. My buddy John, he's like, dude, like we were fans of playing the game at arcades.
Sure.
And he's like, dude, I loved it. this was so cool. And I'm like, are we watching the same movie? Like, did we see?
I think The Rock's going
I
to be
had
in
that
this
moment
movie.
a lot.
as
Shao Kahn.
oh no.
And
Wow.
I'll tell you why, because they recently had it. He was in an interview and he was quoted as saying, "I'm getting ready to do a video game movie that's been played by millions and beloved by everyone, and it's a really badass character." And then the day after, it was like, "Hey, Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out," and I was like,
You're connecting dots.
"I think you might."
It's actually for King of Fighters.
I think. Is it really?
No, that'd be awesome.
That
Though.
would be. You brought me back to like going into arcades and movie theaters, dude. You brought me way back.
It should be
just
for
now.
King of Fighters.
See, arcades were games that you played
Donovan,
instead of.
you're not that much older than me.
Real quick, comic book wise, we're going to mention Yara Flor, okay, the Brazilian, this is Paul's crush.
I was going to
The
say.
Brazilian Wonder Woman. She had her ongoing series
said
Wonder
something
Girl.
crazy.
Went to 7 issues. It got canceled. But fear not, Paul. She's going to be in a sort of like a crossover thing with the different characters from that universe.
Justice League and the Super Legion of whatever by Bendis. Is that
No,
Super
it's-
Legion of Leagues.
No, it's going to be called Trial of the Amazons.
Oh, okay. there you
Oh, I was
And,
close.
yeah, you were close.
I think
That was
Yara
close.
Flor is in the Bendis's Justice League versus
might be.
the Legion. Why can't I think of the name?
Justice League?
No.
Legion of Justice.
What are they? What is the
Legion of Superheroes?
Society
there you go,
of
there you go. Legion of
Superheroes.
Superheroes versus Justice League because Yara Fleur is on the Justice League right now. She is Wonder Woman, so she's going to be in that too.
Sick.
She's an attractively drawn character. Have you seen her?
And Jonathan was going to bring up
I'm gonna put
a,
Quan on after this.
I think the variant was going to mention the thing about Amelia Clark. Everybody's speculating about
Amelia Clark.
There's Amelia Clark. They're starting production
Yep.
for Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
This week.
Yep.
Nice.
She's been on.
We don't
photo.
know what her role is going to be,
What
but
did you-
the rumor is that she's going to be Talos's daughter. And
Okay,
if you've
okay.
read the Secret Invasion storyline, she's very vengeful against humans.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So that could be an interesting story as far as developed because we know that she's got a mean streak.
It's true.
That would be really interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm like processing it.
I thought you
Like,
took more to say.
I'm processing in real time right now all the possibilities for this.
So who do you think would fit next in the role of, I guess, Game of Thrones Starks being in the MCU? Because we've damn near got everybody.
We'll get Sean Bean eventually, probably.
Probably.
he'll die at some point.
Yeah, he ain't died in Marvel yet. He got to. His time is coming.
I must die in this universe as well.
Yeah.
No, but seriously,
Come on
though,
over, Sean.
That was Kevin Feige.
Was that what that was?
Yeah.
He's like, I just like making movies and comics.
What did he take a hit of helium before he gets on his movie?
That's how I talk. I'm Kevin Feige.
With a last name like Feige, you know that someone sounds like that.
I'm
no.
Feige.
Why though?
I don't know. I'm not feeling great.
It's probably all that helium
Wow.
you just ingested.
Literally.
Variant, thank you for being here. And
Yeah, you guys just did so great. I was really hoping to like
So
push something,
condescending.
but my
I know.
goodness,
Wasn't he going to
Donovan.
say something about Secret Invasion?
he did.
I did. Did I?
No.
It's okay.
think
Secret
Frank
Invasion is
did.
gonna happen, and I think Secret Invasion probably will be our disappointment show. Let's just leave it there.
Oh, that's a great tease for
Speaking
next
of
week.
shows,
Okay.
we didn't really have time to get into it, but Peacemaker is very good. And the last episode, I don't know if everyone's caught up on it.
Nope.
Jonathan's plugging his ears. Crazy.
Yeah,
It's really good.
It's fun.
And James Gunn is one of us. He gets this material. They referenced Kite Man at one point in the show.
Batmite.
And I was ecstatic because I'm
Sick.
like, only readers and people who really understand this stuff would know these references. And I did, and I got really, really excited
And
about it.
in this next episode, Gorilla City maybe is referenced.
Cool. Guys, I've loved Peacemaker so far. It's been a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Very enjoyable. I mean, if James Gunn was to take on whatever amount of projects
Yeah.
for DC, I'm
Please.
okay with it.
Don't be shy.
I'm
Do
okay
some
with
more.
it.
He needs to be like the
Sold.
Russos
Don't be shy.
of
Do some more.
the DCEU.
I agree.
I agree.
Guys,
I did that. on
thank you for
purpose.
being here tonight.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you for taking the time to spend with us a little bit tonight.
Listen to us yell at each other about
You listen
children's
to
shows.
us get upset, and
We weren't
Every
really
week.
upset.
Every week.
not really.
Every
No,
week.
not really.
Jonathan hates me.
We're gonna go get some chicken wings. He just nodded.
He said yes. My favorite
He's like,
thing.
so-
Oh, hold on. Sorry, Frank. My favorite thing that happened when he was like explaining like how we did on the Mandalorian talk was when he said, "Well, it was easy to find things that Paul said that made me mad, and I was trying to find stuff that Donovan said that made me mad."
Donovan just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's like
No one's ever said that about me.
and
Ever.
That means that
Nobody's ever said
Yeah.
that means that I don't.
Wow.
All right.
Okay,
Love you long
guys. Next week,
I'll just
okay.
not come again.
Next week we're gonna get a little bit more into Peacemaker and what's been going on with that show.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about our least anticipated shows and films
Yep.
for 2022.
Whatever Jonathan says. is
Super
my least
exciting.
anticipated.
We're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Make sure you add us to your pull box. We will talk to you soon. We're off to eat chicken wings.
Yeah, baby.
Nachos maybe too.
Burger.
It's going down.
Fish tacos. I mean, a beer.
Yeah,
you know.
here.
We have a lot of
That's not gonna be
delicious
for me,
treats,
but-
though. You know, get an iced Pepsi or iced tea.
You look
from
like a
my man
delicious
here.
treat.
Oh, God damn. See you next week, guys.